Hello again. This is Tech 406 again, and in this video we're going to be looking at Windows NT Workstation 3.51 and how to set that up in VirtualBox. So first we're going to go, as with every other video. We're going to go through the what's going to happen and what the end result's going to be. And in this end result, it's going to be an option. The last and final part's going to be optional. If you don't want NewShell, which is going to currently show up right away, then you don't have to have NewShell. But NewShell is something that's located on the Windows NT install disk, and this is NewShell here. And as you can see, it is a Windows 95-esque shell, which makes it kind of interesting. It makes it interesting and easy, and to access a bunch of stuff, to access your information, everything like that. And it's the first iteration of this control panel that we all know and love today. So, but yeah, so I'm going to go through how to set all this up. So right now I'm going to show you that the network works, and so you can see the network works. Here's our LM server that we've been accessing throughout all the demos, and then here's that. So we're going to map this as E like usual. Then we're going to try and open the paintbrush files again. Unfortunately, the paintbrush is not UNC aware, so paintbrush can't. Interesting. Apparently this is not done yet. You can't map network drives through here. Very interesting. Let's try it through here. Ah, that works. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. And then E and reconnect. There we go. Yeah, because paintbrush isn't... that's really, really weird. Yeah, that is actually very, very strange. Because Paintbrush was definitely able to open this file in Windows NT 3.1, but now it can't open it in Windows NT 3.5.1, which is very peculiar. I don't quite understand why it can't. It can open up the text file though. The notepad can still open the text file, which is good. But then, okay, let's copy this to the desktop then and see if it opens it there. Oh, there it goes. Okay, good. Yep, it opens it there though. So apparently Paintbrush doesn't like opening stuff from the network on Windows 3.5.1. So, but as you can see, the network works just fine. We got the video drivers. So go properties here. Okay, so interesting how that works. That's what properties looks like on Windows NT 3.5.1. But we're going to go into the control panel here and go display, and as you can see, we're using true color. I don't know why this bar is in true color. That's very, very weird, personally, I think. So we're going to change display type, and as you see, it's box video compatible display driver, which supports VirtualBox and that. So we have full true color support in VirtualBox, and we enabled sound. So if we go into the drivers here, you'll notice that the sound is enabled there, and we're also running off a SCSI. Not sure what this does. It opens up that. Doesn't open up the devices. So if we open up devices here, actually I think if I open up the hard disk manager program, let's see if I can figure out how to open that the easy way. Tools. Was defragment even available in this? No, I didn't think it was. It's so strange. It's using the Windows 95 shell, but half of the stuff's not technically working. It's kind of funny. So under administrative tools, go to disk manager here. Zero drive. Yes. Okay. So apparently this doesn't tell you what kind of drive it is either. You can't kind of get a gist on what drive they are, which is kind of strange that it doesn't do that. But anyways, it's running off of SCSI. I'll go into the settings here and I'll show you that it's running off of SCSI. So it's running off SCSI controller. That's what that's running off of. So this is basically what you're going to end up being able to do by the end of this video series. So yeah, this is Windows NT 351 with NewShell enabled. So we're going to shut this down, and you're going to be able to do this by the end. Okay, so let's start our installation of Windows NT 3.51. So first we're going to do is we're going to go New, and we're going to go Win NT. Call it anything you want, really, but calling it that's fine. And then for this one, unlike NT 3.1, you can actually select Windows NT 4 for this version type. And then for memory size, I would recommend like 32. You don't need 128 like NT4, but 32 meg should be enough for this. And then create a new virtual disk, go Create, and Create. Okay, now we're going to go into the settings and do a few quick modifications. And unlike NT 3.1, this will be the first virtual machine that will actually be enabling the hardware acceleration if your computer supports it. This is not a requirement, but you can enable this for this machine. And then under storage, we want to actually add a floppy disk controller. And we're going to leave it empty because I want to just use the easy method of selecting it. And then we're going to add another controller, a SCSI controller. And this controller, be sure you select bus logic, and then create an empty CD port on SCSI port 1. And you're good to go, almost. Actually, we need to put in our NT disk. So we have a controller IDE, which we start off with. We have our DOS, and SCSI, right? Okay, under audio, make sure that's selected correctly. Under network, we're going to go host only adapter, and USB, disable. Okay, and now we're going to start this virtual machine and start the installation process. Okay, so like the previous versions, we're gonna go fdisk minus mbr. I'm gonna go fdisk. We're gonna set up the partition. We're gonna set the partition, and then we're not going to install DOS. We're just gonna do a format C. We're done there, and then we're gonna go to the D drive. We're gonna go CDI 386, and then we're gonna go WinNT minus B /B. Makes it for it's a floppy-less installation, meaning you don't need to have to worry about creating a floppy disk during the installation process. And once you do that, we can actually now remove the floppy disk from the drive. We don't need that no more, and we can start the installation process. So it's going to copy basically the entire i386 directory onto the C drive, and then it's going to reboot, and it's going to start the installation process. This shouldn't take too long to process through. Also, starting with this video, you're going to notice at certain points in the video various message bubbles popping up that I'm going to be adding during the video composition process. That will give you some information while you're watching, and you don't have to just listen to me. You can actually read stuff on the screen as well. And that's going to make it a bit more easier to follow in some places too. Especially when we get to some more complex stuff and OSs that people are actually going to want to install. Because I don't think anyone's going to want to install any of these super old Windows versions unless they want to toy around and play with it. And that's the only reason that I can really seriously think anyone would want to actually play with them. So we're going to press enter there. We're going to go to custom setup, and now if you notice, it detected the bus logic SCSI host adapter. So we're good to go there. And we're pressing enter, and then keep all those the same and press enter. Convert to FAT if you want. I recommend it, and then go C to convert. And then for this part, we don't want to do the exhaustive test. There's no point. It's a virtual disk. And then now it's going to do a few copies. And we don't really need this disk in the drive anymore, so we're going to remove it out of the IDE drive. and then we're going to press enter to restart the computer into Windows NT Workstation setup, GUI setup. And this shouldn't take too long. Okay, welcome to Windows NT 3.51 setup. This setup looks very similar to Windows 4 setup for a lot of people that have installed Windows NT 4. It's very, very similar. It's more similar to NT than it is to 3.1 setup now that we've moved over. And then here we're going to set up all components, and we're going to only do the network setup network option. Then press go, continue. It'll detect network card at this point. And then we continue. We only need TCP/IP. Continue. It's pretty smart at knowing exactly what we need. And select TCP FTP if you want, and also enable DHCP there too. And then click yes. Click OK for the FTP configuration, and now it's going to install the NT workstation. I think I just saw QBasic pass by, which is kind of weird. I swear I saw that. I'll have to look at that later now. I'm kind of curious. Okay, and everything here should be actually perfectly fine. Unlike the Windows NT 3.1 setup, this setup is more automated, as you can tell, and more user-friendly. So we're going to press OK, initialize the network. Now it's going to start it up. Not really sure why it needs to start it up during the setup process, though. Like, it doesn't really connect to it very often, I don't think. Maybe it's just because probably for the domain configuration, where you can tell the domain to do it for the domain logon. But other than that, I don't think it actually really needs to do the network setup, unless just to confirm the network settings are correct. Yes, these are just the username and password stuff. You can just press enter through all this. For me, at least, I am. For the time zone and all that, there's no point. And then this here, we're not going to set this up until after we boot into NT. And then we don't want to create an emergency disk, and then we can just reboot. And then this is our first instance of NT here. So we're done with the actual setup process. Setup actually quite fast, if you can tell by looking at this video length. It doesn't take that long to actually do any of these things. And after this initial boot, we're going to convert it all to SCSI afterwards. So we're going to do a shutdown after we do our initial login and confirm everything's working. And here we go with the 16 color login background. Okay, so we're just going to change this to administrator, and then log in using your administrator account. And there we are, Windows NT. So we're going to shut down. Then we're going to swap out to BusLogic SCSI. Then after we reboot, we're going to get some errors saying it couldn't start up various services because we're going to remove the IDE entirely, because we don't need IDE at all. Because in VirtualBox, everything is supported with SCSI for this version of Windows, so there's no point in using the IDE anymore. So we're going to remove the disk, we're going to remove that, and we're going to remove the entire IDE controller. And then here we're going to add the hard disk, choose existing, and then we're going to choose the one we have here. And there we go. We're all good to go now. And you can press OK and start. And watch the magic of Windows NT 3.51 booting using BusLogic SCSI. Okay, and then now it's time to get rid of the other drivers. After we reboot, we don't want to have to worry about these error messages all the time, which you're going to see in a few moments. Yep, there it is. So we're going to go under Devices, and we're going to go down and remove the, we're going to go AT API, and we're going to go Disabled, go Yes, go here to AT Disk, Startup, Disabled, OK, and go Yes. There we go. I'm going to close, and then that is set up. And now we're going to install the service pack. So we're going to put in our disk that has our service pack in it. You can download the service pack from many websites online, so you can should be able to easily find that by just doing a quick Google search. And then we go to here and we install our update file. Yep. And you're going to get an error here as well too for a file can't be written. Just press ignore. And we can now reboot. And we're almost done. We have our service pack installed. We have the SCSI enabled. All we have left to do is the video and the sound. I'll go with the video first. So for video, same thing as the NT31, in case you haven't seen that one. We have this folder here. We have to copy this folder to a disk because it won't install off a different directory unless you change the INF file, which I don't want to do. So copy this basically onto your A drive, and you see notice here the exact same. Then we go into Control Panel, Display, change a display type, go to Change here, go to Other, go to Enter for A drive, and then go down to 640/480 True Color, press Install, go Yes, go Continue, driver's installed, press OK, restart now. And then remove the disk because VirtualBox will try to use the disk if it's not removed. Okay. And now we should have Super VGA video, or VESA I believe it is, going through. Yeah, I'll be going through VESA because it has true color in that. Yep, there we go. Better looking logo now. We're getting closer to what the result should be. So go here. Tells us the new graphics driver has been installed. You can go to display settings, make sure true color is set, and just press OK. We're all good to go. And press OK. All done. Okay, now for the sound. Sound is pretty easy. Just go into drivers, go to add, select Sound Blaster Pro 16, press OK. Then it's going to ask you for the location of your Windows NT disk. Put the NT disk in, and then go to DI386. Press Enter. Press Enter, and it should detect everything by itself, but put MPU as disabled because the Sound Blaster device emulated by VirtualBox doesn't support that. Press OK, and then restart now. And then after restart, we should happily have the have audio. Okay, and we're almost done now. Whew, this has been a very long video, hasn't it? Okay, so let's log in and hear our sound. Ta-da! Perfect. I used to love that sound when I was a kid, I don't know why. Anyways, let's put in our NT 3.1 disk again, and we're going to install NewShell. So to install NewShell, you have to open up a command prompt. We have to go to the D drive. We have to go cd NewShell/i386, and then do sh update and press enter. And then read, and if you want to read this, you can, and then go yes to continue. It'll do all this, install the files, and then press yes to reboot. And we're good to go. NewShell is now installed. And as an added bonus, I am actually thinking of doing the Internet Explorer update as well too. So that won't take long at all to do, since so now we're in NewShell. And now we're going to go to my driver disk here. I'm going to go open up my computer, go into the drivers, and now we have IE3 and T. Some of these other ones might work as well. I might be able to actually use IE501. Maybe I'll try that and just see what it says. Let's find out. Ah, it is supported. Haha, so we can get up to IE501. Nice. So let's quickly do this and show you that how you can make basically NT351 like Windows 95 and that. And here we go. Internet Explorer 5 on Windows 3.51 NT. The only problem is it asks you for a modem. Oh, you can actually do dial-up networking between serial. So I might actually do a video on this, on how you can possibly set this up with a Windows end with another server to get internet connection. Because that is actually kind of a neat thing to try out. I wouldn't mind trying that now. But there's going to be no card here that's actually going to work, so just press cancel for now. And go yes, and let it work. An error has occurred in your application. You messed it up. Let's go close. Okay. I don't know what it did there. We're going to find out if this worked at all. I still see the hard drive light blinking, so we're going to give it a moment. And if it doesn't do anything, then I'm going to press Control-Delete. Yeah, I'll press Control-Delete now. And we are going to do a restart. And we're going to see if the IE5 successfully went through or not. So I'm really curious. I can't remember if I tried installing IE5 yet on NT351, but apparently that version of IE is also compatible with Windows 3.1 and 1.1, if you notice there. So I might also try that there as well at one point. But that'll be a tutorial for another day. I want to end after this reboot. Okay, we don't have IE on the desktop, but I'm assuming that if it is installed, it's going to be over here. But I don't see it over here either, meaning it didn't probably install properly. So, but let's open up the exe under here just to see what happens. No, it's a TCP/IP kernel issue. Oh, wow. Looks like it did end up working. It's kind of weird, though, because I don't think it's actually going to work. It's just going to show us this, and that's it. And if you notice, there's animations for minimizing in that too. But anyway, so that is basically Windows NT 351 and how to get it configured. Oh, I'll do one more thing just to show you that networking is working as well, so you can access the network. Okay, so thank you for watching, and that has been a Tech 406 production. Have yourself a great day.